If you're watching this video, it most likely means you want to get better at BLR. If you do, my best advice is don't. This game is dead. Dumped like a sack of unmarketable code, BLR has become an example of what happens to a game when it grows neglected by its alcoholic and abusive devs. Rife with glitches, some game-breaking and others benign yet annoying, the game is unappealing on so many levels. For any who don't know already, EBL and BCL have both officially stopped organizing new tournaments largely due to the present glitches and toxic community. Dark Oscar, who seek to abuse them for no other reason than attempting to stop the tourneys. I know that there's a patch coming, but I'm not sure if it'll really change everything. The competitive scene is largely unrewarding. Sure, you might get good and be heralded as one of the best, but so few players even play this game, and even fewer take it any level of serious. If, by some miracle, you do manage to get your team into one of the very few tournaments with good prizes, beware of all the hibernating old gens, like me, that come back once a season to stomp the competition and revel in all the short-lived glory that comes from being good at this sad, sad game. Consider buying pretty much any other game. Seriously. Unless you have no money and still want a fast-paced FPS experience, there isn't a good reason to grind this game. Consider Rainbow Six. Once you start getting good, you'll always be back for your next hit like a good adrenaline junkie. Or if you don't really give a shit, buy Titanfall 2 like I did, and just enjoy a beautifully fun game, despite being largely dead and outdated. So yeah, click off this video, take some honest advice, and just get another game. To anyone that still cares, Blacklight and I have shared a tenuous relationship the last few years. Addicted to the COD classics like Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops 1 and 2, I got a PS4 and awaited the next gen of sparkly delicious games, but I also didn't have any money. So I downloaded BLR and threw myself at it like the short-sighted but excited idiot I was. I started out like any scrub, grinding pubs. At first I just wanted to win. I constantly used a max damage submachine gun and demolished lobbies thinking that this game was made for me. Eventually, after I joined Death and started getting bored with the monotony of pubs, I started branching out with my weapon choice, using only the pistol or only the burst AR or even just grenades. I started to become more aware of my presence in the game, more aware of the implications my movements granted me, the power of good positioning even in a game where the enemy knows your position very precisely. I started a beast mode challenge, much like a certain series Little Gamer started much later on in Ultra Nation, where I choose a weapon and grinded it until I got a beast mode streak, signifying my mastery of the weapon. Quickly you develop insights into the intricacies of the game, certain playstyles that offer obvious advantages depending on what weapon you were using. Simply put, I was forcing myself to adapt to the circumstances. I would recognize select areas of the map, little spots and flanking routes that offered clear advantage depending on what I was trying to do and which weapon I was using. Soon I even got beast mode simply using melee. My positioning was a silent communicator to my enemy. They would interpret my position and attempt to counter-attack immediately or not depending on where I was. Considering what weapon I was using, I would use this knowledge to effectively outplay the enemy. While this can be easily practiced among the plentiful noobs in public matches, this is a skill that separates the ineffectual players from those truly seeking to dominate a clan battle. This is also one of the skills most highlighted in 1v1 matches, where you are constantly very aware and focused on your enemy's position. Those with the initiative are always one step ahead of their opponent. They not only read them like a book, but are able to manipulate their responses simply by their positioning. To make a long lesson short, realize how much information is granted by BLR's unique hyper-reality visor mechanic to both yourself and the enemy, and try to understand how this can be used to your advantage. Positioning also has more obvious roles when playing CTF, King of the Hill, or Domination, as you can easily display defensive or aggressive motives simply by how and where you stand. The current meta in Blacklight I believe can be summed up quite easily. The M4X, a quick, accurate, and effective gun that I personally believe to be the most powerful weapon of choice in nearly all clan battles. Exceptions would include instead using the heavy assault rifle on maps like Containment or Deadlock, when trying to maintain a defensive stance. Overall, and in most situations, the M4X outclasses all other weapons. Many players are also adopting a low HP playstyles, which a high damage M4X counters. I solely use a max damage build on my M4X, which provides whatever 50 damage, which just shreds anyone using under 200. This build provides as much mobility and accuracy while still pushing out that ridiculous 50 damage per shot. In any serious match or clan battle, I'm most likely using the M4X as it supports a fast-paced and highly aggressive playstyle I've come to love. Offering enough speed to maintain unpredictability when paired with a low HP build, the M4X shreds anybody silly enough to try 200 or lower HP builds. Although, have fun yelling 2 fucking HP son of a bitch ass cunt every time someone uses 202 and an M4X. Having a low HP speed build opens up a lot of avenues to the experienced player. They can punish badly timed reloads, or HRVs, with a swift rush on an unsuspecting enemy. They can maintain unpredictability and even sneak up on opponents while they are left guessing where they ran off to after checking HRV. They can beat hasty retreats and choose their battles more carefully with their superior sprint speed. They are ideal flag carriers, as sprint speed also affects walk speed. They also gain a slight boost to their strafe, as they can simply move faster. A speed build user can reach and enforce power positions like central control of outpost or vertigo much faster than any enemy players. Bad spawns are less of a problem, and good spawns are even more of a boon to the low HP player. This all comes at an obvious risk, however. Less bullets to kill with the M4X, SMG, HAR, and sometimes, although not usually, the AR. If I'm not using the M4X, then I'm going with a more versatile and varied approach, like using the AK. No, it's not overpowered. Yes, it's about as on par as the AR. It's only slightly better if you use the right attachments. And no, you can't take my build because I copyrighted it, and anyone who wants to use it must first beg me. I also sometimes use the AR when kids complain about it being OP and send me messages asking me to stop using it. Switching to the AR doesn't have too significant of an effect on my score though. You don't have to use a speed build to make the most of the AK, but I do anyway because fuck it, why not? It's consistent, it's accurate, it's not as good as the M4X when being aggressive, and it's not as good as the HAR when being defensive. Use it to be versatile in clan battles, and have fun with all the messages hating you for using a weapon that's nearly identical to the AR. It's also one of the few guns to actually have a small bit of recoil, but it's still pretty much non-existent. Finally, there's the heavy assault rifle, which is the only other gun I can recommend you use in a clan battle. Understanding defensive positioning will allow you to place yourself in situations best capable of utilizing the insanely long range and accuracy of the HAR, while keeping the M4X users at a disadvantage. Don't be afraid to do some rushing as well though, as if you use a 67 damage HAR like I do, 60% of the time you'll get a 3-shot kill every time. There's a few last pointers, things that will just immediately improve your game. Change sprint to L1. You shouldn't really be using gear anyway. You also get some bonus points for swapping crouch to R3, so that you can teabag extra efficiently and sometimes duck to escape headshots in close quarter situations. Put your dead zones lower. They'll give you a more fine and responsive control over your aim. Speaking of aim, stop jerking it around everywhere. Try to keep it smooth and precise. Use toxic protection and stop whining about why that ammo even exists. Strafe with circly motions. And while it does look cool, don't change direction every millisecond. It's not as effective as a wider strafe pattern when trying to dodge bullets. And lastly, of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm not sure if I'll upload another video detailing how to get better at this game. There is still so much to say, not just tips for BLR specifically, but gaming as a whole. There is always something you could be doing that would make you more effective. Try to think about what that might be. Be in the head of your opponent. Try not to only anticipate, but control their actions. Try to make the other player simply afraid of confronting you in a clan battle. Then capitalize on the mistakes they'll inevitably make as a result. Depending on how this video goes and how bored I will be in the future, I might make another one. That being said, don't hold your breath. The rest of this video is just me going on a 53 kill streak. If you really want to see it, continue watching. I'll probably leave it in. See you later. The rest of the video, like I don't talk. That's the deal. See you later. Goodbye.